Hey everybody, welcome back to Three Perfect Holes with Mashi. I am Mashi, and today we're going to take a look at a new course, or not a new course, but a course for this episode. This is where I look at various different GSPro courses and pull out what I think are three just fantastic, my three favorite holes at each of at these courses. So today we're going to take a look at probably one of the most highly recommended courses, if not one of the most popular courses in GSPro. This one comes up every time Facebook somebody posts, "What's your must-play course?" This one comes up almost every single, if not every single time, usually within the top two or three posts. And for those of you that do not know which it is from my little intro, then here we go. Let's take a look at Three Perfect Holes at GreyWolf. So GreyWolf is an absolutely fantastic course by T Squared. He has done some amazing courses in GSPro. A course up in British Columbia. It has, for me, a lot of what I really, really like in a course. It has elevation, it has altitude, it has a really, really fun layout. It has just really everything you would like to do, and you marry that with the fact that he has done a fantastic job on this release. And this release has really held up well over the years as it's been played. So without further ado, 7,000 yards from the tips. Let's talk really quickly about altitude and elevation. A lot of people ask, how do I calculate? How far do I hit my ball? How do I know which club to select? So I play at about 5280 is my standard elevation. And then of course, as you can imagine, when I travel and go down to sea level, I've got to figure out all these elevation and altitude changes. So how do I do that? There are two things that I look at, and I thought I'd share with everybody in case you find it helpful. The first thing that I look at is the altitude at which I'm playing at. At my current altitude, I have the stock carry yardages for every single club. I know how far my pitching wedge, my sand wedge, my driver, my average carry distance, I don't care about rollout, I just want carry distance for every single club. And what I have determined, there's a lot of different calculators and math and everything out there, but for me, what I have determined from 1 mile up down to sea level, it's about a one club difference. So I carry my 9-iron here in Denver. It's a 150 carry. And I know that when I go down to sea level, that same 9-iron is a 140 carry. So I adjust all of my clubs down about 10 yards because I just know from my experience of doing it that going from altitude here down to sea level, it's about a one club distance, about 10-yard difference. I have about a 10-yard distance between every club, which is kind of what you want in your gapping strategy. So that's the first calculation. If you're at sea level and you hit your 9-iron 150, when you come up to a mile up, it should go about 160. Okay, all your clubs are going to adjust by about one club, and know you're going to hit them all further by about 10 yards or so. Now, if you want to really dial that in, the best way to do that is put your launch monitor settings, change the altitude setting on your launch monitor to 5280 or wherever the course is playing, and hit about 5 shots with each club and take the average carry distance. Don't worry about the rollout. That doesn't matter. You want to make sure that the club you're selecting will carry over the hazard, carry over to the fairway, carry where your landing is. So just get for each of your clubs, write them down on a piece of paper, your average carry distance for all of your clubs, and then you'll have a really good sense for what your carry distance will be for those clubs. Now, the second calculation is elevation. Now that you have your carry distances, your carry yardages, you know you'll have to calculate what's the right club to use. So if I have a downhill, say I've got a par 3 that's a 160 yard shot and it's downhill 30 yards, the first thing to do is figure out how far is that. I generally use about 1 yard per down. So if it's a 160 shot and it's downhill about 30 yards, I'm going to play that as about a 130-yard shot instead of a 160. So 160 normally would be 160, 160, 30 yards down, 130. I now know that if I go to sea level, my 9-iron, which normally carries 150 here, is going to be 140. Now I know that I've got a 9-iron 140 carry on a 130 downhill par 3. That may be the right club. It may be a little long. So I can choose, do I want to hit a hard pitching wedge or an easy 9-iron? So for these elevation and altitude courses, you have to do a little bit of math to figure out what's the right shot, which personally for me is what partly makes the game a ton fun, which is did I do the right calculation? Did I select the right club? So without further ado, let's jump into GreyWolf and take a look at what are my 3 favorite holes across this course. Now, here is number 1 at GreyWolf. Beautiful layout, beautiful colors, all the attention to detail, tee markers, the retaining wall, you name it. So the course is great. My first hole that I'm going to go to, though, is we're going to move over to hole 3. It is a wonderfully downhill, par 5, dogleg left. Just a crazy fun hole. As a matter of fact, I need to move over to double check and see because I'm in practice mode. It's downhill 30 yards. Funny, I was just using that as an example. So this 508 yard, doesn't matter what club because I can't get there, so it's going to be a driver for sure. This 508 yard par 5 is going to be a driver for me for sure, but it's downhill 30 yards, so it's not going to play. I'm going to play. It's going to be a 470 yard as the as the aim point goes. So out here to the aim point, it's going to be it's going to be about a 480. Let's put it this way. So 510 down 30. Let's take 30 yards off this. About 478 yard or 480 yard par 4. If you were to go through the aim point, which is on the mini map here, you can see it's going to be out here and then left in that way. So I can see to the aim point, I got 257 yards from the tip. Now, 2 ways to play this hole. You can follow this way, which is you can I'll fly out. You can take your 250 yard drive. You're going downhill. It's going to roll out a little bit, and you can land it right down as we fly over this hole. Great sat shading. Nice rocks, got to carry all the way down here, and you're going to land it. If you play it with a little draw, you'll land right in the middle of the fairway here, and you're going to leave yourself about, if you were to go to here, you're going to leave yourself about 212 yards to the flag on a par 5. So again, you're 212. Now you're down at elevation. You're not going to take any more off, so it's going to be a 212 or 200 yard shot. So you are going to have to use the club that goes right. Just use the right one. Now, second way to play this hole, cut the corner. Now, I did some testing on this, and you do not want to go any further left than this tree right here, this little skinny, squiggly nature manufacturer tree. For me, anything cutting too far over here, these trees came into play, and I couldn't get over it. So I like this line right here. See this bunker? I think this bunker is a great line right through the trees with a draw. So if you then tee off this direction, okay, and carry it over this tree right here. Be careful, these trees can catch it. So you want to carry over the tree here with a draw on the ball. I was able to drop the ball in right about here, and it was leaving me right here, and so you ended up with almost a 300-yard drive because the 30-yard down, you're cutting the corner and you're turning the ball a little right to left. If you go here, you are leaving yourself a 170, 180 shot in on a par 5 to leave yourself a really great second shot that's easy in. So I left myself a shot. I did this 5 times in the sim. Left myself a shot right about here, 170 in. For me, my 170 is just a nice smooth 7-iron. I did a 7-iron right to left. You put it right up here on this really beautiful green. Guarded on the front of the bunker, so don't be short. Short is bad, but you have a backstop. You can play off this hill Everything rolls down here. You can see the two-tiered green. It's actually tier green here and green all the way down here. So short is bad, false front. So I landed my 7-iron right up here, rolled it down off this hill into the circle, and got myself a tap in. Actually, give me eagle on this par 5. So just a beautiful hole, even shorter from the more forward tee. So a great way to play this hole. Next hole that I love is number 11. Par 4, and here's another great example. We can talk about elevation and altitude. Par 4, 331 yard, down 35 yards. So this is going to play no more than about 300 yards, maybe 295 yards downhill. Remember, you're getting good rollout too. So from the tips, it's 290. If you were to move this ball, so matter of fact, if I put this ball on the tee here, I'm now 320 downhill 30. It's a 290 yard par 4. So 290, I could take a driver all day with some rollout, land at 250, 260. You're on a downhill slope. Have a chance to get this ball on the green in 1 on this par 4. Guarded hard left on the left hand side by the water, so you don't want to go left over there, obviously. So, but nice shot. The safe shot is take the mid iron, maybe long iron, 200, 180 yard shot, put it over these bunkers, leave it in the fairway right here, and you're going to leave yourself a short little 60 degree, maybe a pitch in. I like the risk reward shot. Take the driver up the right hand side. Even if you land it up here, you're going to get a good bounce. It's going to roll down off this hill, roll it down, and then onto the green. The green is really simple. There's not much here. A little bit of fall off on this left front corner. Land it up here on the right, and it'll roll, and you've got yourself a nice little eagle putt on a par 4 that you just carried your 250 yard drive, which most people can carry 240, 250. You've now carried it 300 on the right hand side with some rollout, and you're sitting on the green in sitting on the green in 1 with a possible eagle putt on this wonderful par 4. Third hole, last hole that I love is actually 18. Not because 18 is any spectacularly cool way to play it. I just think it's a beautiful looking hole. This is straightforward. 430 up 15. Same thing. You got to calculate that in your second shot. And so we'll take a look at that in a second. Driver out to the middle. Nothing fancy. Just keep going out and carry over the little junk here. No big deal. Doesn't even come into play. These bunkers are in play if you push the ball to the right, but most people are going to, kind of put the ball up here in the middle of the fairway, pretty wide fairway, and you'll land yourself right out here. Let me go back here. Your 250 yard drive is going to leave yourself about 180 in. Now, I'm going to drop the ball out here. Let's go right here. So now we've driven our shot, and here's where we have to do a little bit of math again. So 179, let's say it's a 180 yard shot. It's uphill 5 yards. It's going to play 185 yards. So I add 5 yards to it because it's 5 yard up. So again, you're looking at a nice little, for me, it's 7-iron, little right to left. The left side is guarded with the bunkers, so be careful there. Really cool clubhouse up here. You got the coming in, you can see the rest of the course that you just played at, and then it looks like it's a ski in the wintertime. I don't know if it is or not. Triple tiered green. You got a tier here, you got a tier here, you got a false front here. So definitely want to get it under the backside for this pin placement. You can play off this hill. You've got a ridge right here that the ball will roll down, so going long is fine. And the pin is in a pretty relatively safe spot. So just as long as you get it in this flat area, take yourself a good 2-putt. Par is good on this hole. Birdie is fantastic. But those are my favorite holes on GreyWolf. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and hopefully you like the explanation of the altitude and elevation stuff. I see a lot of questions, and I get a lot of questions on it. So if you like the videos, please subscribe and get notifications. I have some special ones coming up from a Patreon. I was given access to a Patreon for one of our big designers, and so I'll be cutting some Patreon exclusive 3 perfect holes coming here very soon. So thanks everybody. Have a great day.